So winter is almost upon us. Yes, CAT 2022 is just round the corner. Keeping this, every one of you is really excited, but is also looking for the last final push and the fillip that is going to add those extra 5, 10, 15 percentile to your final CAT score. Well, because of this, BYJU'S exam prep brings to you the last lap to CAT 2022, starting on the 17th of October all the way till the 20th of November. Yes, 4.5 intensive, in fact almost 5 intensive weeks of preparation. What more, the focus is predominantly going to be CAT, which means, as we know, time, speed, distance and time and work in totality have almost equal weightage or sometimes even more weightage than geometry. So can we go ahead and leave geometry and just focus on these two? Can we go ahead and leave entire theta para jumbles and still score a 99.99 percentile in verbal? Yes, we can. This and much more in terms of preparation, in terms of intensive questions that we're going to look at and the smartest way of going ahead and solving that. So catch us on the BYJU'S exam prep app, and in case you missed that, on YouTube. But go ahead, download the BYJU'S exam prep app and also get a 99 percentilers kit which is going to help you ace CAT 2022. See you soon.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. Today we are going to look into SNAP exam and how do you target 20 out of 20 in QA, DI and DS. So initially we are going to look into the paper pattern and what should be the expected number of questions and the duration for this. And then we're going to look into some of the questions and see how we can actually improve our accuracy and how can we improve the speed, because SNAP exam is all about that. So if you look at 2021 paper, the 3 slots of questions that we had in SNAP, the slot 1 you had 15 questions of English, so was the case with the remaining 2 slots. Same number of questions for analytical and logical reasoning, and 20 questions each in each of the slots in QA, DI and DS. The marking scheme had been consistent. It's +1 and 0.25 negative for the first slot, and second and third, everything is same. Total marks is 60, right? Now out of 60, QA, DI and DS, they comprise of 1/3, right? So if it is 1/3, then it's an important scenario, because it's all about how much you can score. You have to maximize your score. This is unlike your other exam, the important ones, the other difficult exams, which are CAT and XAT, where if you do around 60% of the questions, you are through, right? You get a very decent percentile and all. But in SNAP or exams like SNAP, you really need to up your score. So 50 or 60% of the total marks will not help. So we need to cross 75%, which is 3/4 of the total marks. So the level of difficulty had been moderate, okay, in the 3 slots, out of which you will find that English had been on the easier side in each of the 3 slots. A little difficult had been the logical reasoning and the analytical reasoning, and on the little more difficult side had been QA, DI and DS. Now, why does QA, DI and DS they become on the more difficult side? It is all because of the introduction of one type of question, which is data sufficiency, which a lot of us are not very much prepared, right? Reason being that DS is not a part of other exams, so we don't really practice them a lot. But if you really want to practice DS and get a hang of it, please pick up the previous year papers of SNAP, and also if possible you can pick up GMAT papers or GMAT practice papers. In that you get tons of DS. The level of DS of GMAT and SNAP, they are almost the same. GMAT is more on the side of reasoning based, less of calculation, less of equations, whereas SNAP is more on the side of calculation, okay? But logic will be applicable in both the scenarios, whether you solve DS of GMAT or whether you solve data sufficiency of SNAP. We are also used to solving DI in LRDI second section, right? But here DI is clubbed with Quant, so it becomes, it is like a speed breaker, right? You're solving Quant questions normally, one question after another question, and suddenly you come across a DI. And in a DI, you have a set. You have simultaneously 3 questions or 4 questions related to that set. So you spend more time over there. So you have to be very quick with DI as well. Okay. Now, if you look at this particular year's pattern, as per the circular, we will have the same scenario, as in the total questions will be 60 as the previous year. The total number of questions in QA, DI and DS is going to be 20. Analytical and logical reasoning will not change, it will remain 25. So it's exactly the same as per the previous year. The duration of the test is only 1 hour. So 1 hour is something that normally, when you sit for 1 hour of study or 1 hour of writing any mock, initially 5-10 minutes you take to pick up the speed, right? And then slowly, gradually, by the time half an hour passes, that's when you have gained the maximum speed. And by the time 45 minutes or 50 minutes are done, then you are at your best efficiency. So what should we do so that from the very beginning, we are very good with our speed? So unlike other exams for SNAP, I will request you to actually, before you enter the center, okay, for writing the exam, you should actually start solving. So जब center के बाहर खड़े हो, wait कर रहे हो, when you're revising the concepts, try to solve some questions right then and there. Take a corner, sit, take out your notebook and pen and some exercise from certain topic. It should not necessarily be that you should be solving questions from different topics. एक topic पकड़ लो और उसी के questions करते रहो, so that you have that speed. So whether you want to start with VARC or whether you want to start with LRDI or QA. So exam के half an hour, 45 minutes before, you simply solve the questions. Don't worry if you're not able to solve a question, move to the next one. So you should have that, initial जो speed pick करने का time लगता है. You should have already used it beforehand. So that by the time the exam, the paper appears, all you have to do is continue with the same speed. So that will help you, save some time over there. Okay? And you have to rush. Okay, you can't be like solving a question and then sitting idle, okay, stretching your legs and arms. You do not have time for all of that. Okay, so it's a computer-based test just like previous year. So you won't have the paper, you will have a computer and the questions will be there. Do not forget to, read the instructions also. Read the instructions very carefully at the beginning. Okay, check what is the negative marking, check if they have given you any sectional time limit. So you should read everything very carefully. Forget about the exam at that point. Read everything so that it should be quick. You should understand it. And if there is any confusion, suppose there is some change, okay, some last minute change in the pattern and you will come to know about it during the instruction, then you can ask any one of the invigilators to come and, tell you about it. If the invigilator will not know, the invigilator will call you the center manager who has come from SNAP, from Symbiosis, and they will let you know that what is that change. Okay, just don't accept your fate and like ठीक है, change हो गया तो हो गया. Talk about it to the invigilator, not to your fellow students sitting right next to you, to the invigilators. Now, what should be the strategy to ace QA, DI and DS, right? The third section. Well, for this, make sure that you pick random and easy questions. Don't solve in a sequence कि पहला क्वेश्चन आ गया तो उसको करना जरूरी है. If the very first question is, let's say, from probability and you are not good with probability, you do not understand it and you have not practiced enough, so leave that question. Move to the next one. Suppose the next question is from 3D mensuration and you don't remember the formula or you have not revised it. Leave the second question, right? So skip questions as quickly as possible. Don't do this that you are trying to solve some part of it and then you decide to leave. Because when you read and you try to solve, you have already spent like 1.5 minutes, maybe 45 seconds. Every second is very important. So पढ़ के नहीं छोड़ना है, पढ़ने से पहले ही छोड़ना है. Don't write down anything unnecessary. Okay. The second is it necessary for us to attempt 3D DI questions in the section? No. See, DI doesn't have a separate section. It doesn't have a separate cutoff, right? So if you think that solving 3 or 4 questions of DI will take you around 8 to 10 minutes, that means per question you are taking 2.5 minutes. If you don't solve a DI set, instead of that, if you prefer a QA one, then you will not take 10 minutes to solve 4 QA questions, right? Please understand, 10 minutes for just one DI set. And that 10 minutes is like 1/6 of the entire paper duration. While 4 questions is very, very less. It's 1/15 of total number of questions, right? So if you are not good with DI, if you are not very quick with DI, ignore DI. Okay. So you can, not necessarily, you can ignore DI sets and give more importance to QA and DS. Okay. The third is where to practice DS from. So DS can be practiced from previous year papers. Okay. And GMAT preparation, GMAT papers, GMAT solved exercises. There are tons and tons of material available. Okay. The fourth is, should you recheck? Should you solve, once you have solved a question and you have ticked it, should you go back and verify if there was any silly mistake that you have done? No, don't do that. Don't waste your time more than one attempt on a question. Single attempt kara, answer aa gaya, good. Don't look at that question ever again. Okay, don't check your solution, don't verify anything. And if you're solving it and if the option doesn't match, then also do not go back and start from scratch the same question. Move to the next question. Ignore. Okay, so do not attempt any question more than once. That also means do not verify or recheck your answer. Don't do that. Okay, it will be it will be bad if you do that. Time बहुत waste होता है. Okay, last point. How would we know that if we have, let's say, solved 12 questions in QA, that is good enough? Okay, so remember, your target is to solve, correctly 3 questions out of every 4 questions. Or in the worst possible scenario, it's going to be 5 questions out of every 7 questions. ठीक है, ये range होना चाहिए. As in, if I talk about the QA DS section, you have 20 questions, right? So ये जो 20 questions है, in 20 questions में से you should have somewhere around 15 questions that you will have to solve correctly. So 12 questions if you have solved, you're not doing well. Because definitely if I look into the first section, English, you may not have solved, you may have attempted maybe all the questions, but not all of them are going to be correct. So your accuracy is going to go down. So आपका target होना चाहिए 15 questions for every 20 questions. That can be extrapolated to 45 questions out of the entire paper. 60 questions है ना, 45 का target रखना है. Now, if 45 is the target, as in 45 questions should be correct, then how many should we attempt? Now, that is something, it depends from person to person. You will have an idea how good your accuracy or how bad your accuracy is if you're attempting mocks. So mocks will give you the best idea and nothing else as to how many questions you need to attempt. So let's say if your accuracy is somewhere around 90%. ठीक है, तो 90% अगर accuracy है, ठीक है, so sorry, accuracy attempts कितने होने चाहिए? With an accuracy of 90%, your attempts should be 50 questions. As in, you can only leave 10 questions. If within those 10 questions, you may have one RC set, you may have couple of LR or AR questions from the second section, and you may have one DI set and maybe 1 or 2 questions from QA. That's at most you can leave out. Okay, if your accuracy is going to be around 80%, okay, जब mock दे रहे हो तो 80% accuracy है. What is 80% accuracy? It means that if you are attempting 5 questions, out of those 5 only 4 are correct every time on an average. So with an 80% accuracy, your attempts will go high. You will have to attempt 55 questions. जब ये काम करोगे ना, तब इधर आओगे. If your accuracy is 60%, then there is going to be a lot of difficulty. Now, if you solve 45 questions, you will definitely get into the college of your choice. But if your questions will drop by, let's say 40 questions or maybe 35 questions, तो गलतियां फिर भी होंगी. There will be silly mistakes because the paper is of lesser lesser duration, right? 60 minutes, 60 questions. That means on an average 1 minute per question. तो वो 1 minute को आप ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा, you can take 1 minute and 15 seconds. You can only increase by 15 seconds on an average. So if you're able to solve a question in 15 seconds, then 1 minute of that question you can use in some other question. Of course, you will not have a table to understand that, right? You will be solving most questions you solve quicker. That means you will have more time for other questions. So that brings us down to which questions or questions from which section you can actually solve within 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or max 1 minute, so that you can save some seconds eventually, and that can be used in your RC. क्योंकि RC तो 15 सेकंड 1 minute में solve नहीं होगा, right? For RC you will have to read. In English you have to read. In LR you will have to read the paragraph. So उधर बहुत time जाता है, right? तो QA is the only section, QA, DI and DS, which you can solve every time within a minute's duration. 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 40 seconds. ठीक है? कैसे करेंगे? So you have to practice and understand which topics are actually very easy to solve. So questions related to inequality, they are pretty easy to solve. You will have options, you can use the options. The second topic is arithmetic percentage based. The third one is percentage and ratio based, both of them. The third type is time and work. The next one is a lot of topics in algebra, for example, sequences in series, logarithm. Then you have got modulus. Modulus के chances कम है, but still modulus. You have got quadratic, types of roots, number of roots, right? In geometry, you have got questions related to 2D mensuration. In numbers, you have questions related to last digit, or a number is a multiple of some number, rearrangement of digits, maybe some questions on remainders, basic questions, right? Straightforward questions as to 11 to the power 31 when divided by 12, what is the remainder, right? The answer will be 11. So उस तरह के questions ही आप कर सकते हो जल्दी. You won't be able to solve questions on base system if you come across a question on base system in 1 minute. मतलब हो भी सकता है, but generally they are difficult. Similarly, PNC and probability, kind of rare, but 30 seconds में तो नहीं होने वाला, because we are never confident, right? These topics. Similarly, time, speed and distance. If it's a simple question of, two trains or one train and a tunnel or a man and a train, then you can straight away use the formula, solve it, use the options. But agar it's a question on time, speed and distance where you have got escalator, or when you have to and fro, or you have circular races, generally not easy. Easy as in I'm talking about time constant. I'm not talking about the concept involved. Concept आसान होगा. You know exactly what to do. But time ज़्यादा लग रहा होगा because there are so many steps involved, right? So these are the 5 important things that you should be doing when it comes to the entire paper, as well as your QA, DI and DS section. Okay, so let's quickly solve just few questions without solving them properly, but using options or using common sense, and see can we actually solve questions in 15 seconds. So suppose this is a question where it is given that x plus w plus x plus y is equal to 0, then find the value of this. So all you have to do is put in some value of your choice. So I'll put w as 0, x as 1, y as minus 1. बस हो गया. आप w को 1 रख लो, x को 0 रख लो, y को -1 रख लो. The answer will not change, right? Because this is more like a theorem that if this is true, then this value is this. So w 0 रखते के साथ this vanishes, this one will become 1, this one will become 1, and this one will become minus of 1 into -1, which will give us again 1. So you have got 2 into 1 by 4, 1 by 2. So while I'm speaking, I'm discussing why we are doing this, what values we are putting. You can also do it and take lesser time that I just did. 15 seconds, 10 seconds, right? Okay. One moment. Right. Inequality. Questions on inequality can always be solved using options unless and until they ask us to count the number of solutions or integral solutions or positive integral solutions and so on. तो जब count नहीं पूछ रहे, if they're asking us the range, हमेशा option से चलो. Look at the options, x is negative or x is positive. So either take a negative value of x or positive value of x. So I'll take x is equal to 1. If I put x is equal to 1, this one will give us 5 minus 8 by 1, right? Which is going to be negative. Negative is greater than 4. Bilkul nahi. So 1 will not be true. 1 is not true, so C and D vanishes. Now between A and B, they both are negative. X is greater than 6 or x is greater than 8. So I'll take a value x which will make one of the options correct, other wrong. So I'll take x is equal to 7, right? So x ko 7 le lete hain. So this is going to be 35 minus 8 divided by 7, right? So this is going to be 27 divided by 7 is going to be less than 4. So 7 pe bhi kaam nahi kar raha. X greater than 6 includes 7. So A nahi answer, B hai. Okay. Now let's try one more. Hold on. Find the average of all the terms of 210, 214, 218, 222 up to 294. So what kind of series is this? If it's an arithmetic series, very easy. If it's GP or HP or miscellaneous, I'm going to leave it. Okay? Because it's not that we won't be able to solve it. Time zyada lagega. So every time you solve a question or if you're reading a question, you know what concept it is from. You don't have to think, mere se hoga ki nahi. It's more about how much time am I going to take. Okay? So 210 plus 4 is 214 plus 4 is 218 plus 4 is 222. So this is an AP. And when it is an AP, how do you calculate average of an AP? You just take the average of the first and the last. 210 and 294 ka average lena hai, right? So this is the average of 504. So this is going to give us 252. So this is how you should also attempt your mocks. This is how exactly you should also try to solve questions mock wale, right? Okay, let me see if you guys have any query here. Give me a second. Okay, now I can see your doubts. Yeah, Varun, after a long time. Yeah, hi Viren, hi Shambhavi. Can I score well in Snap if I started from tomorrow? Amit, do you mean you are going to start from scratch or do you mean that you want to practice? Specifically related to Snap, you have covered the topics. So if you mean the latter one, as in you have solved questions, you have done the concepts, you want to now specifically target snap, yes, you can do it. Previous year papers, mocks. Previous year paper, mock. So एक previous year paper करो, understand the level of difficulty, what type of questions come, then target a mock. Solve करो. Don't worry about the score. Worry about your score at the end of your 4th or 5th mock. So ऐसे cycle बनाओ. ठीक है? Yes, you can do that. Snap official mocks does not give us assessment for the performance of the solution. They only give 3 windows for slots. Okay, Varun. Will the Snap official mocks open their windows for slot every week? No, Varun, they won't. एक बार दे दिया बहुत है. Snap questions are at level of CAT. No, Kaushal, they are at level very less than CAT. So in CAT, we take level as level 1, level 2, level 3, as in level easy, level moderate, level difficult. Snap questions are level easy. Okay. Will there be easy questions in QA? Yes, Divya. These questions are from Snap only. These are not random questions. Snap के actual questions are. RC are there in Snap. Viren, RC as a not like the CAT RC, but you will have passages wherein you will have passage or passages wherein you will have to read and you will have to solve answer questions related to that. You will find major of grammar part over there. Will there be RCs in VS section? There are a lot of chances that RC will be there. See, they will always, what they will do is they will keep the pattern change. Okay, so be prepared for an RC this year. Okay, and any other doubt? RC बिल्कुल होगा, मतलब बिल्कुल होगा as in I'm like 99% sure कि it's going to be there. In QA, any core topic to go focus like geometry or arithmetic or algebra? Sure, Kaushal. I'll tell you about that. So, किन topics को हमें करना चाहिए, right? तो मैं strictly बता रहा हूँ, the topics that I'm going to write, there is going to be a large probability, huge probability that you will get questions from here, and the topics that I'm not going to write, that doesn't mean कि उससे नहीं आ सकते, पर chances कम है. For example, basic percentage questions, ठीक है? Next, you have got successive percentage वाले questions. These all are level easy. In successive, you have got even difficult level, lengthy paragraph based, a lot of percentages and values involved. वैसा नहीं, straightforward questions. Okay, then you have got very, very basic profit, loss and discount. You will most probably not get a question on replacement. So replacement आप ignore कर सकते हो. Then if you come into ratios, you can have basic ratio based question, and then you can have basic average based question that you can solve using the formula of weighted average or allegation, दोनों में से कोई भी चलेगा. Then you will have time and work and time speed distance के questions. ये तो for sure है. देखो, ये तो for sure है. जो मैं circle कर रहा हूँ ना, ये definitely आएगा ही आएगा. So this is what you have. Then you have got digit वाले questions. What is the last digit? Last 2 digits become. Okay. What is the last digit of a particular calculation? And when you may have solved certain questions, no, there is a 2-digit number, then when you reverse it and when you add it, it's always in the table of 77. ऐसे वाले questions, right? So वो ऐसे digit वाले based questions. You will have very, very basic remainders based questions. You will have very basic questions related to odd, even and prime values. Okay. You will not have questions related to Euler's tangent or anything beyond Chinese remainder theorem. You may have questions related to factorial, but not as much probable as basic remainders type. So these are arithmetic and numbers. अब आते हैं algebra पे. In algebra, you will have quadratic. You will definitely have questions from sequences and series. ठीक है? तो मेरे को odd even prime नहीं करना चाहिए था. बेसिक रिमाइंडर्स भी नहीं, क्वाड्रेटिक भी हटा देता हूँ. सो आई एम ओनली राइट सर्कलिंग दोज विच आर लाइक मोर प्रोबेबल, राइट. ये सारे प्रोबेबल तो है, इसमें से भी सीक्वेंसेस एंड सीरीज जैसे मोर प्रोबेबल हो गया. देन व्हाट यू कैन हैव इज इनइक्वालिटी बेस्ड, और you can have questions related to maxima, minima, or value of an expression wherein you put the values of the variables and solve. Okay, so it can be any other topic wherein you put values. वैसे values put तो आप बहुत जगह करने वाले हो, inequality में भी करने वाले हो, last digit में भी करने वाले हो, TSD time and work also you're going to assume a lot of things and solve, right? So putting in the values and solving. Logarithm is another topic जिसके question आएगा ही आएगा. Surds and indices, as in some expression given in terms of powers of 2 by 3, 27 by 8, excuse me, 243 by 625, or some powers of 3 minus 3, 7 ऐसे करके कुछ, and the final value equals to what, right? जो बहुत CAT में नहीं आता. When you start practicing surds and indices, you may have come across such questions in the exercises, right? Those questions are majorly for SNAP or MHCET. ठीक है? Not for CAT. And in geometry, you will have 2D mensuration, सबसे ज़्यादा important है. 3D not. Very basic questions on circles, triangles, and quadrilaterals. Very, very basic questions. You will have an idea what I'm talking about if you look at previous year's paper, and also if you look into the mocks that we have. आपको लग जाएगा कि यार ये तो बहुत easy है. If you guys have written any of the NMAT mocks, you guys have seen, no, observe, NMAT mocks are way easy than your CAT, है ना? जिस तरह से CAT and MAT relation है, the same relation is almost for NMAT and SNAP. NMAT is almost, SNAP is almost same as NMAT or even lesser, I mean, easier than it, lesser difficult than it. So SNAP is like the easiest exam of all, level of difficulty के हिसाब से, ठीक है? Next, solving question for previous, yes Divya, it's more than enough, it's way more than enough. And you will have PNC and probability, but I'm not sure even if you are going to get a single question from here, or you may not have, I mean, they are not sure. हो भी सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता. Integral solution, surds and indices. Sorry Pragya, I'm not writing SNAP this year. I'll be writing CAT and ZAT. So CAT का जो first slot है, उसका analysis I'll be doing, right? Because unfortunately, I'm the only person who has the first slot. I've given Syllabus's official mark, RC was there, but the official mention RC are cancelled. Viren, do not go by anything so far. See, you will only have an idea once the exam starts. Previous year, I mean, in the syllabus part of English, we have RC included. RC hai. I know because some people have read it somewhere at that officially they have said that is bar RC cancel hai. Don't believe in all those rumors. And trust me, if RC is not going to be there, the English is going to be difficult. You will have more difficult questions related to grammar, parts of speech. ये difficult हो जाएगा फिर. Not the generic questions you come across them. RC is the question or the set that makes English difficult. In QA/DI/DS, DI is that set which makes QA/DI/DS difficult. Okay. Or LR or AR में if you have got more of LR, then it's easy. If you have got more of AR, then it's difficult. तो कब कौन सा section difficult होगा वो depend करता है कि which all things are included. ठीक है? ठीक है प्रज्ञा? So give me a call, let me know how the paper went and we can discuss the level of difficulty. We'll not discuss the answers then. We can discuss the level of difficulty. Fair, I will use that in the analysis as well. That will be helpful, right? So give me a call then. No, Varun, I'm not taking that. That series is not under me. Okay, so the ones that I have circled, make sure that you solve tons of questions from there. Okay, the ones that I have not circled, did not use a bullet point before it, practice those as well. And the topics that I have not written, for example, I have not written adulteration, replacement. बहुत सारे topics मैंने नहीं लिखे हैं, ठीक है? Higher order polynomials और 2D mensuration and polygon छूट गया था. Okay, I have not written base system. I have not written last two digits. I have not written Euler's quotient. I have not written factors, right? So वो सब, just whatever you have read, that is good enough. You don't have to practice a lot. Practice करो, आप सब करो, ठीक है? पर कम करो, उन पे कम attention दो. Give more attention to these topics. Reminders, Jaydev, will be basic reminders question. Basic reminders का question कुछ ऐसा होगा. Two types of questions. First is going to be something like I said 11 to the power 31 when divided by 12, what is the remainder? Very, very straightforward. Instead of 11, they will not give you 10. Okay, what लग जाएगी फिर? ठीक है? वो बहुत difficult हो गया. That's more like an IFT question then, not a snap one. Okay, or you may have a question something like P when divided by 7 gives you a remainder of 2, then P into P minus 1 into P plus 3 will give you what remainder when divided by the same number 7? ऐसा वाला question, where you can assume P to be a number of your choice. What kind of number when divided by 7 will give you remainder 2? So in case you guys can't see it, so I'll move a little away. I just saw the video, so वो hidden है. तो P को एक number assume कर लो जो 7 से divide होकर 2 देता है. Take P as 2, है ना? Instead of P, put 2 and see what is the answer you are going to get. So more of common sense based questions, right? So इसका आंसर तो 11 होगा, and this is going to give us 2 into 1 into 5, 10 को 7 से करोगे तो 3 आ जाएगा. So I should have moved the other way. ठीक है? So when I said basic reminders questions, I meant this. Okay, so that's all. I'll take another snap session in the coming week, and not coming week, sorry, next week, and we will look into more questions. I think I'll be taking reasoning wala section there. Okay, so All India Open Mock CAT 2022, the fourth All India Open Mock has it began on 28th of October and it's still continuing. Tomorrow is the last day for this, so please do attempt the Open Mock. It will give you a very, very good idea as to where you stand pan India. The video solutions will be given to you. You will know your strengths and weaknesses. Do not forget to attempt the paper. Okay. The link to this has been spammed in the chat and it's also given in the description below. And last lap to CAT 2022 is going on. I believe if you guys are attending, you may have experienced a lot of new concepts, smarter ways and tricks to solve questions, right? So it's helping you revise the bits faster, and you do not have to take out time from your busy schedule if you are attending these sessions. So it will help you score a decent percentile, and we discuss generally high probable questions. We are also having a series where we discuss 100 most probable questions that you will have for CAT this year, right? So it happens every day at 7 p.m. Make sure to definitely join it. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And if you have got any doubts, do join our Telegram channel, which is BYJU'S MBA Doubts. And if you want to download our app, wherein we have hundreds of similar sessions, you can download it for Google Play. The link to that is also given in the description. Okay. No, Varun, he's not there in the first slot. No, Varun, you need to score a little more, cross 230, 240. So give the next attempt. Okay. Chalo. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for attending. I'll see you guys